Hi everyone, Steve Sirico for Dance Teacher Web as we continue with our interview series out here at UNLV, the University of Nevada, Las Vegas. And today we're thrilled to have with us Aaron Turner, and many of you that watch So You Think You Can Dance saw him on season 10, but he's doing a whole lot more than that and has done a whole lot more than that. So Aaron, welcome, and let's go back and start off when you first started dancing. How did you get the bug?
I first started dancing when I was around 7, 8 years old, and it wasn't by choice. I was actually doing karate at the time. My mom and dad used to say that I would dance around the house very poorly, and so it was my dad's idea to put me into some form of the arts. He's an entertainer, He sings. So I guess they decided to go with dance. And in the beginning, I wasn't the biggest fan of dance because I was the only boy, and I didn't really have a lot of friends. And but eventually, a few years went by as I continued and I started doing other styles, and then before I knew it, I had to choose between dance or karate, and I chose dance.
See, but I'm sure that those karate roots helped you in dance, even though karate's a little more turned in, but still all of that agility and balance helped.
Yeah, all the forms, you had to learn different forms in order to achieve a different belt. Ended up being very similar to just like learning a combination or a dance. There was a ton of similarities that actually worked out. So I was really happy I chose dance, especially as I got older.
Yes, exactly. Well, Aaron's a pretty big dude. As myself growing up, there's always the challenges as a boy. I played sports, football, so it was very cool. I was able to teach a lot of the players dance routines, and they loved it. They thought it was great. But let's talk a little bit about the challenges as a guy growing up dancing.
It's a rarity. It's a rarity that there are men who are dancing. So you're one of a kind. There's not a lot of assimilation between you and other people that you can all recognize. You get made fun of, I felt like, especially when you're younger. A lot of people didn't understand why you would choose the arts because, unlike you, I never played a sport ever when I was growing up. So I was an oddity at my school in the younger years. So yeah, you do reach those types of obstacles. I feel like when you've chosen to be a male dancer. But I think the payout in the end is supersedes any type of troubles that I feel like that you experience when you're young.
Absolutely.
And dance to me changed my life. So it ended up being exactly what I was supposed to be doing when I was young and as I got older too.
So now, did you have as I like to say, an aha moment where all of a sudden you thought to yourself, you know what, this is for me, I'm definitely going to pursue it. Do you remember that point?
I think it was probably one of the first times that I got to work with my father, as he had one of his shows, and he brought me on stage, and it just started off as a little small type instance, and then it turned into I could actually be a part of the show, and I would work into a number and all those type of things. I think around that moment I realized that my passion and the thing I love doing most was being on stage. So I think that would have probably been my aha moment where I felt
that's it. You get that bug. How lucky we are as performers, if you're a dancer and you performed, that you really get people to applaud for you every night for your work. Think about most of America, even people in some of the top corporate jobs, people don't stand up and applaud for them after they do a day's work, where we get applause as we're moving along.
Very true. Yeah, I don't consider dance or any of these type of jobs to be work.
Yes,
it's exactly what I love to do, so very fortunate.
Absolutely. So let's now shift gears a little bit and talk about teaching.
Okay.
Was there a certain teacher or style that really you kind of resonated with you, or something that a teacher said to you that really made sense and connected on the teaching aspect?
I've always had a very, very, fond respect for my teachers, especially the ones that I was closer to in dance. And dance is such a vulnerable thing that you look to these mentors in order to help you get a better grasp of what it is that you're supposed to be doing. I always floated very closely to my first tap teacher, who was Stephanie Menarkin. She trained under Henry Latang, who was one of the people who taught the Nicholas brothers, and he's a tap legend. So I was very much drawn to her because she excelled in tap so much. And it was something that I was really, really looking forward to continue to do. My first teacher ever was actually Napoleon Dumo from Nappy Tabs. He worked at our studio first, and I was in an all-boys hip-hop dance. I was very, very young, and I think that helped me, create this relationship with these other male dancers, and it made me definitely want to stick with it more. So I just started off with tap and hip-hop, and it wasn't until years later that I realized that in order to expand what it was that I was doing for dance, I needed to branch out and start doing other styles. And so ironically, my first ballet teacher was Dolly Kelipaz, who also worked with you guys, and she was actually a showgirl in my father's show. So
full circle,
yeah,
right?
so full circle. So I had to start taking ballet, and I then realized that was going to help me in all these other styles. And Dolly became so close to us because she was a family friend. So I was definitely drawn to her, even though I was a terror in her class. I'm sorry, Dolly. And so as I got older, and I had to take dance more seriously, I then realized the importance of ballet and all these other styles. And as soon as I started doing ballet more seriously, my hip hop got better and my tap got better because I was stronger and I had better technique and I was more disciplined in a certain style. So I now have such a all-around appreciation for all dance styles, but it started with, hip-hop obviously got me involved, got the guys involved, and then tap because it was rhythmic and my father plays instruments, so I thought this was the greatest opportunity to dance and play instruments. And then eventually, years later, I have such a deep respect for ballet now because of all of that I had to deal with myself. So.
Okay, now all you teachers out there watching, I know you're applauding right now. Show this to your students. You could say, look, he's saying ballet's helped him in his jazz, in his hip hop, in his tap. It's the key that sets you free. Hallelujah, baby.
Yeah, it really
nice.
is.
All right, so let's now talk a little bit about your time on So You Think You Can Dance and the experience of what that was all like, learning routines on short notice and getting stuff ready each week.
I mean, So You Think You Can Dance is an amazing medium for dance in general. I mean, all over the world, it puts dancers as the forefront. They become the stars, which is a rarity in any type of dance job. So I respect the show so much for what it is capable of doing and how it's furthered dance and how it's created these stars like Travis Wall and Twitch and all these people who have come from the show. But again, putting them at the forefront of the situation has allowed the opportunities to be practically endless. And I mean, the show to me, I feel like was just a much bigger and deeper thing about perseverance because I got cut both times that I auditioned. And in the beginning, I initially auditioned because my students were telling me to and my parents were telling me to. And so I kind of did it initially just to be like, okay, I'm going to do it and I hope everybody gets off my back. And I got farther than I anticipated and then eventually got cut. And I think at that moment I was like, I didn't want to quit. I didn't want to, I felt like I could do it. So then I went back again the next year. And I made it all the way to the end and got cut again, unfortunately. But I think through the works of God, something happened. Whereas one of the contestants couldn't go, and they called me 3 days before they started airing, and I slid in there and then made it into the top 20. And that's when the journey actually began. It's a very, very high stress situation. Learning the dances, it's really hard to describe how much actually goes into the week that you have before you guys see the 2-hour taping. Yeah. The work ethic is crazy. Your rehearsals are very, very long, and it's very, very demanding. But I mean, you're living the dream, though. I mean, we're getting the opportunity to do exactly what it is that we want to do, and it happens to be on national television. So you never complain. Yes. While you're out there, working your hiney off. But it was such a learning experience for me, and it was probably that other aha moment that really changed my life or took this whole dancing situation to a whole different level.
That's fantastic. Well, thanks for sharing that. That was great. Well, we're really excited. Aaron, this past year, also taught at the Dance Teacher Web Live Conference. He was fantastic. We're thrilled that he's going to be now doing some videos with us on Dance Teacher Web, and he'll be appearing at the conference this coming summer as well. Thrilled to have you back on board. So, everyone, fantastic guy. Show this to your guy dancers. Important. We all got to stick together.
Yes,
thanks,
we do.
buddy.
Thank you guys so much for the opportunity.
All right. Enjoy.